All good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. How are you doing? I know you said you went on a trip over the weekend. Just how was the trip and how are things? How's life in the last week
Okay.
since?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything's still good. Obviously, it sucks losing, and it's not like fun. But I mean, the rest of my life is still the same. So, yeah, just been enjoying some like time off this past week. Um, just letting like the bump. I mean, I'm not really hurt in the fight, just like mostly like bumps and bruises. Um, so yeah, yeah, things have been not too bad. Yeah.
Where'd you go over the weekend?
I've just
Don't
been
mind
like
me.
upstate, like hanging
Oh,
out,
cool.
like yeah, family
Cool.
things.
All right, yeah. You've had a little bit more time to process the fight. It's been a little over a week. Just how satisfied were you with your performance? And yeah, were you happy with it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say happy with it because obviously, not getting the win always shows that there's things you need to improve on, and I didn't feel like I did necessarily like horrible, considering I did strike pretty much the entire fight. Manon she was tall, she was rangy, she fought super smart, she stayed long. I kind of struggled with the distance a little bit, and kind of finding my takedowns. Um, and I felt like I was finding some. I mean, I felt like I was finding some of my strikes. I caught her with a nice head kick, kind of wobbled her there, and I felt like we were kind of going back and forth. I know she edged me out. I felt like she only edged me out slightly in the striking, to be honest. So I didn't
I
feel like I
agree.
did horrible. Yeah, like I feel like it
I
was pretty
agree.
close. So I feel like there's a lot to learn from it for sure.
How surprised were you with the actual scores? I mean, I'll be honest, I thought you won the second and fourth. I did think she won three of the rounds, but 50-45 across the board was pretty shocking to me. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, I definitely did when they were reading the decision. I knew that I like lost, but I didn't feel like I guess 50-45 sounds pretty dramatic. But it really just means she like edged me out every round. I did feel like I did well. Um, Maybe the last two rounds I thought I did a little bit better. Um, but you know what? I felt like either way, whether I won a round or not, I was going to lose the fight anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I agree. Each round was pretty close. I know it's still like super fresh on your mind, but like you posted on Instagram like just a few hours after it and like you were like saying you'll be better, just like wondering like where does that kind of come from? Like and how quickly were you able to just be like, all right, I'll move on and I'll hit the next one.
I feel like by the next day, I really felt like that. Even like, I mean, that night, obviously, I was upset about it, but I feel like I've been competing my entire life, so I have, even though I haven't lost a lot professionally, I've lost a lot like in my life, like in jiu-jitsu and other kickboxing, like competition and stuff. So I feel like I'm used to that feeling of like losing and wanting to get better. So I definitely felt like the second I lost, I was like, oh, I wish I could like do it again like next week. You know what I mean? I feel like I'd be able to make adjustments and win the next time we fight.
You kind of talked about like the range being a little bit of an issue and kind of throwing you off in it. Was it also like how strong was she maybe compared to other opponents? Because like it seemed like she's super strong and just big for the division.
Yeah, she did feel very strong, and I feel like she moved well. Like I feel like even my last opponent, Talia, was a very strong girl, but she was a little bit more stagnant, which made it a little easier to kind of hold her in certain positions. Where Manon was very, disciplined about like kind of throwing me off of her and keep moving. So I think the combination of like her strength and her movement made it difficult for me.
How close was the guillotine in the first round?
I feel like at first it was a little bit tighter, maybe. I kind of grabbed it more when she got the body lock just to kind of like have something to, I guess, counter with once we did land because I felt she got that body lock tight right away. So I knew I needed some type of grip. So I was able to wrap around her head and I knew I'd be able to like get my butterfly like I did and sweep her over. Um, but the choke was never like super tight. I was kind of using it more as a transition.
I know like when you guys were standing, it wasn't like really there at all, but it looked like at first, like when you guys were both down, it was close.
Yeah, I think she had like her chin in a little bit. I could feel her fighting it.
Did anything about her style or game plan like surprise you in there, or you kind of just knew everything?
Yeah, I feel like No, I don't think anything was too surprising. She just fought, I guess, very like conservative. She didn't take a lot of like chances with anything, and I thought maybe she would start pushing a little bit more, maybe create a little bit more openings for me. But it just shows me for next time I would have to, kind of strategize better and have to create more openings myself. Um, yeah, but I feel like that's it.
Do you think she wasn't kicking as much for a reason? Like, what do you think that was?
Yeah, I'm sure she wasn't kicking as much, so I didn't catch her kicks and try to take her down off of that. Um, yeah, she was using mostly her hands. She would use some of her teeps, knees in the clinch. Um, she was kind of pushing off a lot of the clinches. Yeah, I feel like she was kind of doing everything she could to just stay at distance and try to just like pepper me from there.
And just a couple more. Now that you've been in there with Manon and assuming like she'll probably get the winner of Valentina and Alexa, do you think Manon could get it done? What are your thoughts on the matchup?
I do think Manon could win that fight. Yeah, I think they're all very good, and I feel like at a certain level, like anybody can win on a good day. Um, so yeah, I feel like I could see any of them beating each other.
And no, it's still early, only a week after, but do you have any kind of sort of timeline of when you'd like to maybe get back in there or time of the year?
I don't know exactly when yet, but I would love to fight like Rose. I know she just won recently, and she was kind of talking about fighting me. So if we could set up that fight while this title fight's going on, and then Manon gets like her shot after, I feel like that'd be a great fight.
I think that's a good idea. I think there's a
Yeah,
couple other names too, but that's a pretty good idea. That's it for me, Erin. Thank you so much for the time. It's really awesome watching you every time and seeing this journey. So thank you for always for the time and keep going.
yeah, no problem. Thank you.